Okay, let's try this again. I have no idea what happened. I think it crashed on the YouTube side because I don't know. It may have crashed on my side. I don't know. Mm, good stuff. So, like I said, just kind of trying to chat about life in general brewing. Um, Before all this kicked off, this pandemic and all this good crazy stuff, I was planning on doing a sugar-based soda brew. You find a sugar. HEB here in Texas has a generic Dr. Pepper clone that is made with sugar and not corn syrup. Basically, you get your soda, the amount you need, you boil off all your carbon, boil off everything that you don't need. There's artificial flavors and all that stuff that you're just go ahead and boil those off. Then you take it, and depending on what your gravity is at that point, you may want to add some sugar. I've done the recipe, or I haven't done it. I've seen it done. It's one of the few recipes that I haven't done that I want to do, where they've added a little bit of brown sugar to get the gravity up, to get a little bit better alcohol content. And it's supposed to make a fairly decent drink. It's supposed to come out like um, a coke or a rum and coke. But so million things of soda. It's going to take to do the batch I want to do. It's going to take about 6 12 packs of soda, and that right now is considered hoarding, and I really don't want to go down that road. Just first of all, try to explain to the authorities why I need 6 12 packs of soda and why it's essential. But um, probably going to use a distillation yeast when I do make it, um, and go from there. Now, whether or not, depending on what kind of alcohol I can get out of it, depending on how high I can get my gravity on it, um, we can only surmise what kind of alcohol to soda taste ratio we're going to get. Like I said, I have yet to do this. Is one of those recipes that when I first started doing this channel on YouTube, I saw on Homebrewed Wild and Cheap, really really good channel. Go check it out. But he had done it, and I had seen other variants of it, and all the basic things is that it comes back to its basically pre-made rum and coke. So that's one of the things that I want to do. Another thing I want to do is I want to do a molasses and brown sugar fermentation. Um, Ferment it, then maybe depending on how hard it is for me to get a hold of the molasses I want to get a, not necessarily, well, I think the only way I'm going to get the pure molasses that I want is to get an organic molasses, but that's expensive, so I'm kind of holding off on that for right now. You can get it on Amazon. I've been keeping track of watching the prices on that go up and down, but with shipping and stuff kind of being in flux, I really don't want to order it right now. I want to kind of wait till everything dies down. I want to start doing some more videos. I haven't done a video in probably about a year, a little over a year, a little under a year. Excuse me. I'm gonna get back into doing some mackleys, flavored mackleys. This year's crop of wild dewberries is looking really good. The plus the muscadine Grapevines are looking really good. They're all coming in. They're flowering up real well. So hopefully we can get some dewberries and do it like a dewberry makgeolli. Um, I don't think I can get enough to do just like a dewberry wine, but the rice used for doing makgeolli accepts flavor. Wonderful. It's wonderful. One of my favorite makgeolli recipes is with sweet potatoes, and there's enough analise in the naruk, which is one of the traditional Korean ingredients that go into makgeolli, to both break down the starches in the rice and in the sweet potatoes. Plus, using the naruk over just analyze enzyme, you get other flavors. There's some earthy flavors, some really nice things that come out of using naruk. I've used naruk in a couple non-makgeolli fermentations that went really well, testing out ideas and recipes, which I will probably get one of the dust off one of those recipes and do a video at some point later. Now, things that those two, the soda and the molasses are my big two. Um, like I said, I haven't done any videos. Like I said, it's not for lack of time or anything. It's just I've had other interests that have preoccupied my time at this point. Um, see, pretty much. Let's see. There's something else. Oh, sugar cane. It's a little too late this year. I didn't get a chance to order it, but I want to plant sugar cane. I want to get that done and taken care of. Being in East Texas, our climate is does real well with sugar cane. In fact, Sugarland, Texas, that's how it got its name, is from the growing and cultivation and producing of sugar. Um, you can guess where Hempstead, Texas, got its name from, but the sugar cane grows pretty good here. I've read some things that if unchecked, it can take off like bamboo on you, and but if you keep it checked, keep it harvested, um, you want to try and plant it. For everything I've read, you want to in East Texas, you want to try to plant it after the 10th of March and harvest it before the 10th of November. So I mean, if I get a chance, if this stuff blows off early enough and I can get some good sugarcane eyes to get planted, maybe. Um, Push comes to shove, I could get a pot and plant a few inside and cultivate them inside and go from there, because things I've read, I want to try this because all the stuff I've read on sugarcane, using sugarcane in fermentation versus processed sugar or even raw brown sugar, is supposed to give you so much better flavor. So you're supposed to get your alcohols, depending on your yeast you use, your alcohols are supposed to be so much better with using a sugarcane mash, and that's just something I want to explore and get into and find out. I do a lot of wines, a lot of meads, stuff like that. I'm not a real big beer brewer, and that is simply from the fact that beer takes more effort than I want to give. And people that do brew beer, I take my hat off to them, because that is a whole mess of stuff that they are willing to endure that I'm not. I have some good friends locally that do beer, that do almost exclusively beer, and I've helped them out on their, getting the warts and stuff set up, and that just, heating and cooling and cooling and heating and letting it slowly cook, and It gets crazy. I am infinitely too lazy to do that. It just, like I said, people that brew beer, you have my heartfelt gratitude that you're out there doing it because I like drinking it. Um, it's just kind of one of those things. I have other things that I have that really just because of the laws of the state of Texas, I can't really put on YouTube or talk about on YouTube. But this is a glass of it. Well, good stuff, good relaxing. But as far as just brewing goes, distillation in Texas is illegal. We'll talk about a little bit. Distillation in the state of Texas is illegal unless you have a license and you're willing to jump through the hoops and spend the money to get a license and maintain a license and all that good silly stuff. However, I called Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission in Austin, and their feelings are as long as you keep, as people who do personal distilling, keep the volume and amount to a minimum where it's not cost effective for them to raid, they're gonna turn a blind eye because it's going to cost them more to execute the raid than what they're going to recoup in fines. So, and that's where I'm going to leave that. I imagine my local TABC people would disagree, and because they tend to be a little gung ho in this town. But as far as that goes, it's pretty good. Let's see any other brewing. I have found that some of my flavored Mockleys tend to age well. If the traditional just rice and Naruk Mockleys that I've done, not so much. They're good for about 6-8 months, whereas the flavored ones were banana. I did banana. I did a sweet potato. I want to say I did something else. I'm gonna say a cinnamon or something like that. I can't. I'd have to go back and look through my videos. But the flavored Mockleys are good. They're still good. They're great to drink. There's several really good. Jeff Rodage. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. If you watch this video, please forgive me for mispronouncing your name. He does some excellent work. I've fallen behind on his videos, and I apologize for that, Jeff. But he does some wonderful stuff, has some great information. He has some wonderful, worthwhile videos where he's actually went to Mockley breweries or distilleries. I'm not sure what the correct terminology, where he's been in Korea and he's went to where they manufacture this, and they're wonderful videos. They're very informative, very educational. Love them videos. It is great. His like I said, his videos are they're they're they're, they're what got me to brewing Mockley. To be honest with you, because he's real no nonsense, very simplistic. Doesn't try to overwhelm you with jargon or technical terms. He has videos where he uses the technical terms, but he always goes back and explains, hey, this is what the technical term is, but this is what you're doing. And he does a real good job of simplifying it for people to do it themselves. And now that places like Amazon and even some of the online brew supply stores are carrying Naruk. I mean, mind you, the online supply brewery supplies carry very limited amounts of it, and sometimes you go on there for 2, 3, 4 weeks at end, you just sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. So, but Amazon has it, and you got to be real careful. Just don't look at it. Oh, Naruk, and order it. Look at it, read about it, because sometimes you're getting the actual Naruk, the mold that you need, and sometimes you're getting a where it's been ground up and mixed into like a vitamin pack or something like. You need to read your descriptions if you want to do Mockley and you want to use the traditional Naruk. Um, I do advise because what I did and it worked out because of the way you wash your rice and clean your rice. It's easy to damage the small grain rice, the Korean rice that you use that makes a really good makgeolli is really easy to damage and hurt and destroy in the washing process. What I did is the first couple times I made makgeolli, I just got a regular long grain rice and practiced my washing of the rice and stuff like that. And I made the makgeolli. It was pretty good. But when I went and started using the actual short grain sweet uh, Korean rice, it was so much better. But it is delicate. You can and the price to get a good quality Korean rice is expensive. I mean, you can get lesser qualities for not as much, and that's the route I suggest going. Starting with some cheap off the store shelf long grain rice and working your way up. Then you start with the cheaper Korean rice and work your way up to when you want to make something special. You've developed your skills in washing this rice and steaming it and handling it when it's delicateness. So when you want to make something special, you have the skills to do it. Like I said, it is really fascinating everything that goes into the makgeolli brewing. Like I said, Jeff's videos are awesome. Like I said, he goes to Korea and goes to other places, and he does a wonderful job. Um, I'm thinking about doing a corn alcohol. See what I get. Just curious. Not anything fancy. Go down to the feed store, buy some cracked corn, and throw some annalise enzyme in it. Throw some yeast in it, and rock on. See what I get. Um, this here is Red Bull and a sugar water that I just fermented. I just took a bunch of sugar, put it in water, fermented it, and it makes decent. I got about 20 ABV out of it. Used some distilling yeast, and for doing mixed drinks, a little like this here, I guess you'd call it a vodka and Red Bull, but it works real well. Mm. Um, I've also found with other things that you can the whole brewing thing is just phenomenal. Um, I've got to sit down. I've got to pull all my stuff down once I get a chance. And I keep it clean, but it's just set up so long without any use. Um, I got all my lids and stuff wrapped in cellophane. Got my tops of my carboys and stuff, and they're pretty clean on the inside. I just feel better if I take it down every once in a while and wash it when I'm not using it. It makes me feel better. It's probably not something you have to do. Let me see. Not a whole lot else going on. Whoever, I appreciate the person who's been watching this whole time. Says I have one viewer. I appreciate you. It's not telling me who you are, so, and you haven't made a comment, so I appreciate you hanging on in there with me rambling about all kinds of crazy stuff. But I am going to go ahead and call this good. And because I try to keep my live cast about 20 minutes, between 20 and 22 minutes. So you guys have fun, take care, and hopefully we can get back to brewing. I can get the ingredients I need. Peace.